All right, we are on day 4 of our 5-day challenge from fearful to calm, helping your dog handle the holidays, whatever they may be. Mostly focusing on our 4th of July big booms and bangs, but I know the summer is time to party. It's time to get out. There's lots of loud noises going on. I swear every other day there's like a family barbecue in my neighborhood.
I
So
know, right? There's like
it's really,
so much going on.
yeah. And Lena here, I know her mom can't come today, but she's doing fantastic with we took our training outdoors. So if you have a backyard, I have really high walls. I've been doing some of the sound desensitization where she can't see things, but she can hear things. So I would encourage all of you that have practiced inside, if you have a backyard or a secure area, take everything you're doing inside and do it a little bit at a time outside so that we can get some more real world experience into that.
Love
What
that.
was that? Or the boom and treat. Those things are definitely pay off in the long run.
If you're ready.
If you're ready.
Yeah. So I'm doing a little bit of both. I'm doing this, the desensitization where they hear the sound and they don't make a big deal out of it. But I'm also like pairing it with a lot of, once I turn it on at a really high, cause I'll turn the volume up and Bentley will look at me like, what the hell are you doing? You know, kind of thing. So then I go into, tricks, let's go into tricks. Let's do this. And, he's looking at me kind of a little bit like, please stop. But at the same time, he goes in and he wants to play. So for me, I'm doing a little bit of both. At some point, he's okay with the sound, but at the same time, he's like, well, what are you going to give me for, what are you going to give me in exchange for that? Which I get it. I totally
That's how my dogs look at me at the vet. Like, okay, I'm here. What do I get? It's like, absolutely, I'm going to give you everything I got because this is a difficult thing. But.
Yeah. Sound desensitization can be used with other things besides sound. And then counter conditioning is what Julie and I do all the time. When a pet parent calls and says, my dog is reactive around new people that come in my home, right? We're going to counter condition the way they feel about people coming in their home.
Absolutely.
My dog is, reacts crazy when the doorbell rings. We're going to counter condition the way that they feel about that doorbell ringing. Right. So we can choose to either desensitize them to the sound where it's not a big deal, or it conditions a different response. Instead of running at the door, bolt, like barking and all of that, it can mean that your dog does something else. So I love how slow we're doing it over a 5-day period. But the reality is this can take weeks, months, if not years to really
depends on that emotion or the feeling around these things. And if your dog has had a bad or a negative experience with sounds or people or other things, it does take longer. So keep at it, keep working day by day. If you want to do the 5-day challenge every single week, just go back and watch the videos and progress to the next level at your comfort level, because this really can, what we're focusing on today is safety and being prepared. And that's what we want for all of the dogs in our area. I have a dog next door. Sometimes you'll hear him in the background. He barks all day and all night. And I just want to go over there and like give him a card and be like, hey guys, I would love to help you out. But we can't always, rope everyone in. But
all right, so we're on day 4, which is, like Julie said, creating a safe space, which we're going to talk about a little bit, and being prepared. So we're going to cover pretty much everything else you need to know besides, I've got tomorrow an expert coming in on, I'm not going to say, but I've also got medication and a vet kind of thing coming in tomorrow. So let's just go ahead and finish up our day 4 so that we are on board and everyone knows what we're doing. So safe space. So what does actually a safe space actually mean? For me, it's defined as a place that your dog feels totally comfortable. And when it comes to creating a safe space, it's a place in your home where they, well, I'm assuming, I'm just totally assuming that they feel safe. It's a place in your home that's away from the big loud noises. So we're going to go into 3 different things: location, how to make it feel positive, and then what does safe actually look like?
Yeah, and a
That
safe
makes
space is something that we use year round, especially when, because Yo and I have dogs coming in and out of our house all the time, it can stress our dogs out. And so we
Mhm.
want to make sure that they have their own space, that every dog feels comfortable wherever they are. So this is something that travels with you. This is something that when you have other dogs or family coming over, it really helps your dog de-stress, decompress, and not feel like they have to interact, because not all dogs want to be social 24/7.
So let's talk about these 3 things. So location. Um, Wherever your dog hangs out when you're working on the computer, when you're watching this, when you're watching TV, when you leave the home, if you have the luxury of having a little camera, where do they go? That is where they feel the most safe. You're gone, right? Mom and dad are gone, and they're usually going to retreat to someplace they feel safe. But we want to create more safe spaces in your home. So it looks like something like a large bathroom, a walk-in closet, a laundry room, or if you've got an opened up living room like I do, you've got like tables that you can create little safe spaces in, even a quiet bedroom.
Yeah, I like to think of it, because I'm from Tornado Alley, I'm from East Texas. It's where I would go to hide if there
Mm,
were things swirling around outside. So sometimes
absolutely.
an interior room or a closet, anything that's going to be mostly away from the windows, or if we can cover up the windows. And I know we're talking about that in just a second, but if you're thinking about where in my house, I have a pretty open layout, but there are areas in the house, like even in the hallway, if I shut off the doors, that limits the window access. And the windows are what really vibrate during those big booms that can kind of freak
I'm
them out.
glad you brought that up. So what's not safe, yeah, is near a window or right near where the action is happening. Whether it's like we're talking about fireworks, but it could be anything. It could be the parade, it can be a live band playing at at the local bar. It can be whatever your dog is reacting to. You need to manage them. You need to bring them away from that location. Sometimes it could be a garage, if you've got a garage that's carefully placed, maybe not on not right where everything's happening. Like last year, they literally started launching off the fireworks in my alley.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's right by your garage too. So
correct.
bummer.
Not only was it by the that so the noise, like it when I was reading an article and they said like to get the noise to a higher, what's it called, decibel.
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 There you go.
Yeah, put it in they were, like, talking about putting it in a enclosed area, like a cardboard box or an alley, and I was like, "No freaking wonder they're doing some research on how to make these freaking fireworks even louder." But
Yeah.
there's a skill to it, and for whatever reason, it is fun for them, and I totally, I'm not trying to take that away, but, like, it's scary for our dogs, and we've got to prepare them. That's our responsibility. It is. It really is our responsibility. And Julie, where you live right now, like not only do you have all of this going because you had the Gay Pride Parade last week, but you're going to have the race. There's so many. You got the Bayshore Triathlon. You've got the Long Beach Marathon going in. So there's people coming in and crowds of people that can sometimes disrupt the dogs. So we need to be prepared. We need to figure out other safe spaces. So it typically, a safe space is a place where your dog can retreat away from the chaos, away from the noise, right? What does safe look like? It's quiet. It's away from any open window. Typically, you're going to close the curtains in some way so that for fireworks, it's got flashing lights and things like that. You're going to mask the noise because with some loud noises, like in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock, I've got bars on each side of me. And I know that you do too now, Julie, but I've got bars. So what happens is that when people are walking to their car, they're talking really loud, and that can be a trigger.
Oh my gosh, all the time, like people just standing outside my house,
Yep.
total strangers camping out like it's a picnic in front of the house. And obviously that kind of riles the dogs up late at night. So
Yeah.
thinking about where the highest traffic areas of your neighborhood are as well.
Yeah. So bringing them away from the ability to hear that noise at a high, pitch is what you're trying to do. Large spaces where it gives them room to move around is always a big plus. And give them a place to hide. So if you see your dog hiding, don't try to treat them and get them out from under the bed. They're in a fearful mode. I mean, there's not a lot of things that scare me, but when I'm afraid, you're not going to be able to talk to me. Not at all. Because I'm going to go into
your response is like pushing and kicking people away.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I am not gonna like grab Yo and hug her when she's afraid, because her immediate response is like, no. Yeah. So, and it's totally happened before, and everyone experiences support in a different way as well. So we need to be really conscious about, like, if your dog doesn't enjoy being cuddling and sitting on your lap, don't go up while they're terrified and hold them, because they may redirect that fear onto you. And that's when accidents like with kids typically happen, because they see the dog, oh, they're scared, they want to be pet, and that's not the best time to do it. And in the ebook that we're putting together for the end of the week, you'll notice in there like different responses of stress, the hiding, the shaking, the trembling. It doesn't always mean they need your support. Sometimes it just means they need to feel safe.
Yeah. Safe for most animals. If you think about, like, let's pull away from the dog. Let's think about other animals that are out in the wild. Most of them are going to find a cave or dig, right? I got a whole bunch of holes in the grass over there. And I know that it's not, dogs. It's the animals that know how to dig. They dig and they find safety. There's safety to be found in a small enclosed area. Right? They are hiding. So when an animal is hiding, it typically looks like heart rate is elevated. When I'm scared, which doesn't happen a lot, but every once in a while, heart rate goes up. I normally start to like bead sweat. I'm trying to figure out what to do next. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of that fear, right? Animals do the same thing. They go, how can I escape this? So hiding is typically what you're going to find most animals going to do.
Which is why having the option of like a crate or even like a domed area, like a fort that you've set up, just like for your kids, like a little fort where they can go under and kind of black out and feel comfortable. We never, ever, ever want to use a crate as punishment or to keep our dog in a specific area while all of this chaos is going. But if that's where they find safety, having a dark, almost cave, like covering up the top and letting them go in on their own, can be really, really comforting while all of this chaos. But if they choose not to go in there, having other hiding spots as well.
Yeah. Under the bed, finding a table and putting a blanket over it. If they do use a crate or an X pen, covering it up. It really helps. But in order for your dog to know that it's safe to go in there, you're going to want to start way earlier, like start right now. If you haven't started right now, the whole idea of this 5-day challenge is that you committed to do it. So to make things positive around whatever you're going to use, whether it's a walk-in closet, a restroom, you're going to want to put something soft in there like their dog bed. You're going to want to start days, if not weeks ahead of time. You're going to want to do some feeding or toy play some games, do some find it. Like every once in a while, if you're going to use like a walk-in closet, for example, put a dog bed in there with some toys and then put some treats in there so that every once in a while they go in, they go, oh my goodness, did you Did you know that she's got food in here? Right? That kind of whole thing.
It's also important that it's a cool area, because when we're stressed and our adrenaline rises, like Yo said, we get that sweat. So do our dogs, but they don't have the ability to sweat. So not just necessarily a fan, but having an air conditioning on. I know not everyone in California leaves their air conditioning on, but that might be a good time to seal up the house, turn it on, and cool the home down so that your dog can regulate their own body temperature as well.
Not to mention the air conditioning and the fan makes noises, which helps block out all of the people walking in at 2:00 in the morning from the bar or the fireworks that are going to happen. So let me play a little video that we put together on creating a safe space. And then Julie, just talk us through what you see, because I'm not sure if you've seen this video. So let me play this safe space. Here we go.
Yep. So having that kind of den like covering up the sides so your dog can't see or even especially feel some of the vibrations that are going on. Comfy dog bed. I sometimes suggest like putting a sweaty t-shirt or something in there if they find your scent really comforting, or finding a cool space like the guest bathroom or the master bathroom that has tile. Oh my gosh, my dog loves laying on the cold tile. So, but I want to have the option of them laying on the bed or picking the floor, which my sheepdog usually does. Here's an example of a walk-in closet that is beautiful. Diane has a wonderfully built home, but you can see there's no windows. It's off to the side. So not really your standard closet. Here's the bedroom that we would consider being close to where you hang out. That's, again, dogs are very social animals, so we want them to be comfortable wherever you are. And if your presence helps them feel safe, that's even better. Right here over in the corner of a house, so not directly next to, you can see that the crate is backed up against the wall, so there's nothing behind there. We don't want it to be pushed up against a window or something like that that might vibrate or bring the sound in. And then turning up the TV, the radio, the podcast, whatever you've got going on. Classical music is very comforting to dogs. Reggae and jazz has really good beats, I've noticed. Or there's a special subscription service called Dog TV that has dog-specific sounds. It's vet formulated to hit desirable sounds for a dog's decibel range. Closing up the curtains, I actually just got blackout curtains so that there's not so much, it's not like sheer, they're not seeing the flashes of light, it's totally closed off, and sealing doors and windows. A lot of old houses in the area, the doors and the windows start to kind of crack or separate from the wood floors. And then going into the safe space and playing. If that's not where your dog usually hangs out, we want them to have a really good context with it. So you may spend the next couple of days playing fetch in that area, feeding your dog in that area, giving them their favorite chew, but we want you to stay close because your dog pretty much always wants to be wherever the fun is. So you're going to bring the fun to them. And when I hang out like in the kitchen or something, I just bring an extra dog bed in, honestly. And I sit down on the dog bed with them so that they feel like, oh, this is where we all hang out. This is where we all chill. And that way I don't have to sit on the hard ground, but I'm on their level for some comfort as well.
So choose a few different options and get your dog acclimated to that space, wherever that's going to be. Create a positive association with that space. And then there's lots of stuff that we've posted already on how to do that. And make sure that your dog has the ability to move around, that they're not stuck or confined. Because when they feel restricted, just like us, if I was scared and you tried to like wrap your arms around me, most likely you're going to get slapped. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Yo's a jiu-jitsu champion, so he's going to throw like a bow in there and you're going down. So we don't want them to feel, when we feel trapped, we panic. And when we have our back against the wall, behavior is unpredictable. So you may see things from your dog that you've never seen before, like growling or showing teeth. We don't want them to get to that level. So if that is an issue, please give us a call. We want to help you take care of that before we even get to that point.
Absolutely. And if you're watching live, please drop any questions right into the comment because we can see what you say by placing them in the comments below. So let's go into prevention and just in case emergency, because things do happen.
Yeah, this is the most or the highest number of runaway dogs come the day after the 4th of July, because obviously the fireworks are at night. So dogs, even wildlife displaces quite a bit. Birds can lose their entire
Mhm.
family. Possums will never come back to the area. So we want to be really conscious as to when your dog is disoriented, they may not find their way back. So they often end up in shelters, rescues. So this is going to help us, make sure that doesn't happen. But if it does, you're able to get your dog back as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. So we're going to cover these few tips that are right here. Double securing your exit, microchip, collars, and GPS. If lost, what do you do? If you find a dog, which I have found several
Mint-
dogs in my area. So let's just kind of go over quickly what that looks like. So securing your home. Walk the perimeter of your home. Take a look at everything that's got to do with your dog being able to have access to the outside. Now, some dogs can scale a 6-foot fence with no problem. Absolutely no problem. Some dogs, they might dig.
Right.
When you're in a state of fear, you will do anything to get out. One of the clients that she's got a new puppy now. It's Dory's Dory's mom's daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first time I met her, it was my experience with her the first time was that her dog had run away over 4th of July. They were gone at a party. It was a neighborhood, neighbor block party, and she went away. She secured the home, but she left the screen door open, the potty area open, right? So for her dog to have access to the backyard when he needed to go potty,
Like
he
doggy
jumped.
doors. And
Yes. He jumped that fence and he was run over.
mm,
And he passed away on a holiday just like this.
mm, it's so sad. Yeah, we want to make sure that that doesn't happen to anyone else, because we can't talk our dogs down from that kind of stress. So by
Mm.
setting up prevention and management, we can keep them from reaching that point.
I just recently asked a trainer, what would you do? And she said, I would recall my dogs. Not when they're afraid.
Not when they're
They're not going to
terrified.
listen. No,
Mm,
I wouldn't listen to you. Uh-uh. So
yeah.
when your dog's in a state of fear, they're going to find a way of getting comfort, right? So walk your fence line, make sure that there is no way for your dog to get out. You guys are smart. Like seriously, you can outsmart your dog. Put whatever that looks like. It might look ugly for the night. You might end up putting a cardboard box over your fence line, whatever it takes. Check all of the locks in your home, your garage, your front door. Make sure that they're double locked. So that might mean putting a nail through the little hole that opens and closes your fence. If you've got children that might possibly leave the front door open,
Get a gate.
add an additional gate.
Yeah.
Set up something additional extra that your dog would have to launch over in order to go out that front door.
It's hardly ever the person who's in charge of the dog that leaves the door open. It's usually a construction worker, a kid, maybe your house cleaner comes over that day and leaves it a little bit cracked. We just want to make sure that you have it double checked, just like you would do for your baby, for a little tiny toddler, because it's the same kind of danger. We don't want them to get outside and then hurt themselves.
And if you live on the 4th floor or a penthouse or even the 2nd floor, whatever that looks like, don't think that your dog can't jump. They will.
Yeah.
Right, Julie?
Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately, we had, well, I don't want to say unfortunately, because the dog is absolutely okay, but we did have a client whose dog had such severe separation anxiety that she jumped off a 2nd-story balcony. Now, the dog is okay. The owner was able to get her back, but they didn't even know it happened because they didn't believe that she could have like this was a big dog. She was quite overweight at the time too, that she would launch herself off the second floor. And she ended up, being okay. But a neighbor found her in the middle of the street trying to find her way back because she was disoriented. So just don't even take a chance. If you're startled, if you're scared, bad things happen when we don't know what to do. So don't even give your dog that option.
So in the afternoon, when you know that fireworks are going to happen, close off those screen doors all the way and lock them. Any windows, shut them. Curtains, shut them. Just don't give that even ability for your dog to escape to even be there. Next is the microchip and collars. So one thing that we do all the time, Julie, and I don't know that a lot of pet parents do that, is that we leave their collar and tags on unless it's a problem. We typically, because we're constantly moving the dogs from one place to the other, I will keep a dog's harness on with their tags on all day long. I don't take it off unless it's bedtime and they're enclosed in an area that I can feel safe in. So collars with tags on them, or at least, ability for us to know who that dog is, whatever that looks like for you guys. If your dog is microchipped, call and make sure it's up to date right now. Call.
So many
Confirm.
dogs, while I was working at the shelter, they would call 2, 3, 4 numbers that were on the microchip database, and none of them were the current owner, or the owner has moved. They'll try to contact you at your house and that address is not correct. So really make sure that is up to date, because every vet and animal center in America is required to have one of those microchip scanners. And that's like a guarantee that we can find who the owner is. And if your dog's not already microchipped, it's like a $15 to $20 fee at the vet. Go today and get it done.
So in order to get microchipped, it's at the vet. Like she said, I think it's about, I'm going to throw it out there. I think it's about $80 in here in our area to get your dog.
I've seen it for as low as 20. It just depends on the clinic you go to. And it's a tiny little like grain of rice. So it's not a big operation. They take a shot, they put it in between your dog's shoulder blades so it doesn't wiggle out, and it doesn't hurt. It's just like getting a shot. It's a little quick pinch and then they're done, and you can be in and out in no time.
So microchip up to date. Collars, you can get the ones on Amazon that's got their phone number, but just have them wear a collar during this time of the year. Yeah. Just all the time. Don't take it on and off, just unless it's a danger to have on in the home. Keep that collar on, because God forbid they run out the house and they don't have that on. There's no way for someone to go and contact you. So make sure that's up to date. There are a lot of GPS trackers out there. There's several that are made specifically for dogs. We've got the Apple one, we've got the FI one that I haven't really done a lot of research on, but it will track where your dog is. And even if it's not completely precise, at least an area of where your dog might be. So do your research and see if that's an option for you. Right. All right. So let me give you some stats. What are the chances of finding your dog if they get out? Well, I pulled these stats from a local GPS company. Julie, you'll be surprised. 93% of lost dogs were eventually recovered. 93%.
And unfortunately, that still leaves those 7% of dogs that get left behind. But we would love for that number to be even higher this year by you guys preparing in advance.
Yeah. 90% is likely to find their dog in the first 12 hours, which means, they've bolted and they're most likely in the area. 49% of dog parents found their dog by in the neighborhood somewhere, because
sometimes a well-meaning neighbor will take the dog because they're afraid to take it to a shelter or a rescue. They'll put it in their backyard. So I know that the first thing we say is, go check the shelters or the rescues, but it's also a neighborhood thing. There's a lot of really well-meaning people out there that are just trying to keep your dog safe. They may have just put them in their backyard while they're looking for the owner. So definitely get out in your neighborhood and ask questions and bring a picture with you.
Yeah, I have a little lost dog thing next.
Perfect.
Let me go. 16% of lost dogs manage to find their way home. That means that having someone stay at the home to, oh my God, you made it back. That whole kind of
Like
greeting.
homeward bound, that's
Yeah.
a pretty high number for dogs that can actually find their way back home. So,
And that's why it's important to walk on a different, direction each time. So your dog really gets to know their neighborhood.
yeah.
15% of dogs are found to be microchipped. So a lot of people that find a lost dog I see it all the time. They're like, I'm going to go get it microchipped to see if it's microchipped.
Yeah.
Right. 6%, I was like really shocked at this percentage. 6% of dog parents find their dogs at the animal shelter. I know that my mom's dog went missing. Duke took off. And I think it was right after New Year, never was found again. But there's so many different shelters and they don't correspond with each other.
We don't have
She
the same
lost her dog
yeah.
within, this question. How long do you have to find your dog before they say no one's coming for them? It's a dog is available for adoption. I know that each shelter is different, but
yeah, every shelter is different. The general rule is that if it has a microchip and they've contacted you, they hold them for about 2 weeks. If not, if it's like a dog that they can't find any identification on, that dog could be put up for adoption in between 3 and 5 days. They do medical check, behavioral evaluation, and then within 3 to 5 days, they're trying to get it out to help more animals. And when the shelter is overloaded like this, they're doing everything they can to get that turnover so that they can help the highest priority, the sickest dogs, the dogs that are coming in the most injured.
Gosh, we could spend a whole day on this, but
it's really, it's
it's so sad. And then if your dog if you go through everything and they're still not found, just know that they can survive. A lot of dogs can survive without you. They can find.
We've talked about this. We've put bets that Opal would find her own, like she would take over a coyote pack, and then Cooper would just be outside the front door, just like, Mom, so it depends on your dog's skills and street smarts, but it is possible for them to find and hunt and dig and do those things that would help keep them alive.
So real quick, we're going to go over what to do if your dog is lost and what to do if you find a dog. So go for it, Julie.
Yeah, what to do if your dog is lost? Check familiar areas. Like if your best friend, your dog has a oh my gosh, my mouth has a play pal in the neighborhood. Sometimes they will remember that house, and that's the first place they will go, is a friendly face, your aunt or your uncle, or a dog that they played with pretty frequently. So check those areas first. Report that your dog is missing. You can post it on community groups. I know in Huntington Beach and Long Beach, there's at least 15 groups where I've seen lost dog or contact if you've seen, and people share across all platforms to help you. And that's a great community resource. Contact the local shelter, print out a lost dog poster. Print out a lost dog photo with a current photo, so that it's not like the puppy picture from 2 or 3 years ago. It's what your dog looks like now and with the equipment they have. And you're more likely to hear or see someone help out if you do offer a reward. You don't have to put a specific number on there, but you can say reward offer return. So people are going to be more motivated to really help you and spread the good word.
I was just saying, ask people to support you. Ask people to share your post. If you post something on Facebook, say, please share, like especially all of your local people. So not only do you go out and, you can put out, call the neighbors and all of that, but Go out on your Facebook community, ask everybody in your local area to share, because most likely somebody's going to see your dog,
Right.
right?
And also putting on there, like, if you have a scared, a frightened, or reactive,
Yeah.
do not chase, right?
Yeah.
We don't want our dogs to be running away from someone, have them call you, put your number, or you can buy a second line and they can call that number. But it's really important that they're able to contact you directly to know what to do once they see your dog.
Now, if you find a dog, recently I found a dog.
You found like 10 dogs in the past
Well,
year.
in this area, yeah, I find a lot of dogs. So here's my go-to. I try to find a way to trap the dog into my area, right? So this recently, just recently, I found a dog, and the dog was pretty friendly. The dog came up to Walter, who was walking my dogs, and so I had Walter take my dogs away, and I stayed with the dog. I used food to lure them in, and I brought him into the garage. And at that point, because I didn't know, I'm reading the dog's body language. I'm not quite sure if this dog is friendly, whatever. If you can contain the dog in one way, if you have the ability to contain that dog, you're going to help quite a bit, so that you can find out if the dog's microchipped. So I was going through all these things about what I was going to do. Long story short, the dog had a collar on, and I was able to call the number. The family lived in Anaheim, which was about 30 miles away.
Wow.
And they actually had moved recently. So they were in the area and they weren't going to be home for an hour. And I said, okay, I will just keep the dog in the garage. So some of the tips that you can do if you find a dog is contact the local shelter and let them know you found a dog. If you can send them a picture, grab your phone and snap some shots. Contact any rescues in your area, because most likely they're getting calls, or they just know dog people, right?
And most of them have a digital database where they have pictures. Like if you're communicating with the coordinator, you can send them a picture and they can actually look through the pictures of the dogs that have been brought in. So sometimes that can be really helpful.
Yeah, and in our area, we have next door. So start posting and say, I just found this dog. You call me to identify if this is your dog. He does or doesn't have a leash or a collar, whatever that looks like. And make sure you post, a ton of pictures. Let them know to contact you. If you have the ability to be able to take that dog to a vet to get scanned and microchipped, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, there's some people that actually have that scanner and they'll come over. Like in my local area, my person will come over and scan, which is kind of nice.
And remember that these found dogs are probably also very, very scared. They've been through a lot. We have no idea how long they've been lost. So keep them away from your dog and your kids. This is not a social hour. This
Mm-mm.
is not, oh my God, we're going to get a second dog. They could be
No.
very, very terrified after the experience they've been through. So it's best to keep them separate in the garage, in your backyard, in a bathroom, or something like that until you can figure out next steps.
Ask for support too. Somebody will be able to help you foster that dog until you can find its owner. So, and worst case scenario is you take it over to the shelter, and they'll be able to then continue to look, because that's most likely where whoever lost their dog is going to look for. All right. So photo shoots. You're going to want to make sure that if your dog gets lost, that you can post a ton of recent photos. Julie, you did a really great job of mentioning the old pictures versus the new. So we highly recommend setting up some kind of photo shoot right now. Don't delay. Don't wait. Just grab a handful of your dog's favorite things, whether it's food or toys, and start snapping some pictures. I can't tell you how many, the full body shot, face shot, everything from the side, the profile, the coloring, not just the headshot, but get about 15 different shots of your dog so that in case that happens, you've got recent pics. One of the things that we have you doing today is called Teach Your Dog the Selfie Trick. It's a trick that you'll do that can put your dog in a position where you can take a really cool picture. So how you do it, and I've got a quick little video on this, is that you're going to teach your dog to go into a sit position behind you. And from there, your dog faces the same direction as you do. And from that point, you're going to ask your dog to place their paws on your front shoulder. So either shoulder, whatever side that is. And then you want them to hold that position so that you can take a shot of yourself with your dog. So let me play a little video that I shot earlier on this morning. Let's see. Where are we? Here we go. All right. So I used a platform for this one, asked my dog to go and do a sit. And then this is called the paws up. So Bentley was only giving me one paw. I just taught him this morning, which is fine. And then he actually launched up to a paws up position and I paid him for it. The other option is that they keep their butt down, but they put their paws up and you can then look into the camera, take a quick little selfie so that you've got your dog's mug shot in there.
I love that. He's doing like even his little cross paw, fancy paws. I love that. That's great.
Isn't that cute? I had fun with that one.
Yeah.
So to end for today's day 4, Julie, just bring us in. What's the activity of the day?
Set up a photo shoot for your dog. Make sure the lighting is nice. You get them from every beautiful angle, and share with us your dog's name and where you're from so that we also know how far this is reaching. We want to make sure that people from all over America are benefiting from this. So feel free to share with friends and family, invite them, share the YouTube videos so that everyone is pre-prepared. We're not doing this for money, for love, for congratulations. We're doing this because we love dogs and we want to keep everyone as safe as possible. So the more people that get involved, the more people that accept the challenge, the better off we're going to be as a community altogether.
Absolutely. I love that. So guys, that is it for today. Let us know if that was helpful. We will end day 4. And we've got one more day tomorrow where we've got an expert speaker coming in. So you'll be able to ask your questions about medication, which is always a big topic. Yeah. But take all of this information in, take action. To know what to do and not do it, you might as well like not even know what you're doing. But to take this information and take action, that's what we're asking for. We want 100% participation.
Continue to practice all the way up until the day and even after, because this is Southern California is party central. So we want to make sure that everyone is as safe, calm, and cool this summer as you are.
Absolutely. All right, Julie, thank you very much for joining me live, guys. Have a wonderful day. That is the end of day 4. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 o'clock for day 5. Take care.
Nice.